Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving headfirst into literally the most terrifying, heavily censored mystery in all of galactic history. You know, for 10,000 years, humanity has worshipped the Emperor as a god. But today, we're peeling back those myths to look at the massive, chilling gaps in the official story. So let's just get this out of the way right off the bat. The most powerful weapon in human history was absolutely not a titan. We're not talking about some colossal war machine marching across a battlefield to crush a planetary uprising. Nope, it wasn't a Blackstone fortress either, and it wasn't even the guiding light of the astronomic in itself. What we're actually talking about defies conventional imperial military logic. It exists entirely outside the boundaries of everything we thought we knew, which brings us to the big question. What was the Emperor hiding? The guy hid something so incredibly dangerous that entire archives were literally erased just to protect it. To figure this out, we've got to trace the breadcrumbs of a galaxy-wide cover-up that's been going on for millennia. 000104 Speaker 0 Section 1 The Erased Archives. Let's look at the Imperium's missing history. Okay, let's open up this mystery box and look at the sheer scale of the censorship here. Because we aren't just talking about a few redacted documents with black marker over them. No, we are talking about missing centuries from official records, vanished exploratory fleets, entire star systems being completely wiped from maps as if they never even existed. Even the true purpose of the Emperor's massive Webway Project, totally obscured. Nobody knows exactly what the secret was simply because someone somewhere made absolutely sure the truth never survived. There's this chilling detail where every surviving reference to it ends the exact same way mid-sentence. Just think about that. It means the truth was actively, aggressively hunted down and destroyed. And this censorship built an unbreakable pattern across 10,000 years. It goes exactly like this. Step 1, an exploration fleet uncovers anomalous ruins. Step 2, they investigate and report back. And Step 3, absolute permanent silence. The fleet never returns and the records are sealed forever. Section 2, anomalies and quarantined worlds. This leaves us with a trail of dead planets. Let's look at the Emperor's bizarre behavior during the Great Crusade itself. Imagine being an Imperial commander. You find these completely insignificant dead star systems that have absolutely zero strategic or material value. Nothing. But then the Emperor suddenly pours enormous resources, entire legions, and massive construction projects into securing them. Millions of lives lost, billions of thrones spent, and then he just immediately seals off the entire region forever without a single word of explanation. Make it make sense, right? To understand why, we have to look way back to the dark age of technology. This was humanity's golden era, a time when scientific knowledge was so advanced that reality itself seemed like something humans could just engineer. Now, some highly classified records hint that forbidden archaeological digs uncovered relics from this era. But here's the kicker. The energy signatures they found didn't match anything in Imperial science, which strongly suggests humanity might not have been the first to possess them. Think about the sheer scale of that threat for a second. We all know the awakening of millions of years old necrons completely shattered our assumptions about time. Now imagine the Emperor discovering evidence of something waiting beneath reality that predates all known galactic history. Something older than the Eldar, older than the Necrons. Just a truly ancient unknown threat. The data leaves this incredibly terrifying trail. As these highly classified fleets traveled farther and farther from established territory, moving from the near borders out into deep space, and finally into completely uncharted zones, the rate of disappearances spiked massively. Communications would just abruptly cease, and the administratum would completely scrub those sectors from the archives like they were never there, which acts as a massive hinge for our whole investigation here. It forces us to ask a really uncomfortable question. What if conquering the galaxy was merely preparation for something else? Like what if the Great Crusade was literally just phase one of a much, much larger blueprint? Section 3. The true Primarch purpose, how they were pieces of a larger machine. Okay, let's dive into the Primarch puzzle. When you look at the Primarchs themselves, their official roles seem to hide a much deeper potential. Take Guilliman. He wasn't just a general. He was built to be a post-war administrator. Perturabo was a complex systems engineer, not just your average siege master. And Magnus, he possessed immeasurable psychic conduit potential. Honestly, their highly specialized abilities seem wildly excessive if the goal was just simple conquest. It really suggests they were intended as precise tools for this incredibly ambitious post-Crusade future. And when you view it through that lens, the Horus Heresy becomes far more than just a tragic civil war. It was actually the violent interruption of a secret project that was nearing completion. A master plan that nobody fully understood was just suddenly and violently torn apart. Notice the deliberate coordination that happened the second the heresy erupted. Facilities were evacuated, top scientific teams just vanished, data vaults were completely purged, witnesses were executed, and entire installations were permanently sealed off by the custodes. The Emperor was actively, purposefully eliminating his own research, just so this immensely valuable and dangerous secret wouldn't fall into the hands of chaos. So the crucial point here is that even during the literal apocalypse of the Siege of Terra, all the evidence suggests the Emperor remained occupied by a hidden crisis. He was behaving like a man balancing multiple galactic crises at the exact same time, maintaining something deep underground that humanity was never ever meant to discover, even as the world literally burned above him. Section 4. The final contingency, the story of a wounded civilization. Now, this is by far the most unsettling possibility we're going to cover today. What if the Emperor's greatest secret wasn't a physical weapon at all, not an underground project or some lost civilization? What if it was exactly one horrific prediction? Just look at the trajectory of the Emperor's true design. If he foresaw a catastrophe so immense that all of his projects were just a desperate attempt to alter destiny, then the Great Crusade and the Webway Project, they were just stepping stones to an unknown final phase. This entire timeline was designed to prevent a future that Horus, through his rebellion, ultimately ensured would happen anyway. And this leads us to a terrifying reality. The Imperium was never intended to be humanity's final form. Let that sink in. Everything since the heresy is just a damaged, broken contingency plan. Humanity is surviving on borrowed time. Imagine waking up and realizing that your entire existence and the last 10,000 years of the Imperium is nothing more than a ruined, desperate backup plan holding off an inevitable end. The truth is so terrible it would absolutely destroy all morale, which leaves us with this final thought. If this truth is still out there waiting unopened in some forgotten vault deep beneath Terra, we have to ask ourselves, would discovering it finally save humanity? Or would it just destroy the very last illusion holding the Imperium together? Keep that in mind the next time you look up at the stars. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next deep dive.